This movie starts with the premise that there are alien beings from another planet who have been watching humans like microbes under a microscope and have been planning an invasion for a long time. Then we are introduced to 3 astronomy students from Oxford University who are guided by Dr. Stint. They are on an expedition to investigate a meteorite that fell about 2 hours ago. As they are chatting and joking, Herbert sees something moving in the distance. He is curious and follows it, without being noticed by his 2 friends, Hannah and Ogilvy. They only realize that Herbert is missing and go back to look for him. Herbert manages to find them and tells them that he saw something strange. The 3 of them suspect that the meteorite that fell is not a normal meteorite, but a living creature that might come from Mars. But Ogilvy denies that life on Mars is impossible. They hurry to the location of the meteorite, but on the way, Hannah's Google Maps loses signal. So they decide to stay at Herbert's mother's house, because it is close to their destination. In the morning they wake up, and Herbert's mother talks to Herbert that she is going to the town of Leatherhead to meet Uncle Tom, who is the only relative of Herbert's father. But Herbert feels uncomfortable discussing it and sick. Hannah approaches Herbert, and Herbert tells her that he misses his father very much. Ogilvy comes and is surprised to see Herbert's old walkie-talkie. As they are gathering, Herbert's mother tells them that there is news about the meteorite on television. They who hear it immediately go to the meteorite site. When they get there, they are late, because there are already many people and police there. They want to get a closer look, so they decide to take a shortcut. They are confused because the shape of the meteorite is not what they imagined. Suddenly, the door of the meteorite opens and they see a creature like a giant octopus that emits black smoke. And at the same time, they are caught by one of the police. They explain to the police that they are astronomy students who are assigned by Dr. Stint to study the meteorite. The police does not believe and calls Dr. Stint. Dr. Stint arrives and they explain. Dr. Stint also does not believe and thinks it is illogical. Soon another alien emerges from the meteorite. People feel threatened and run as fast as possible. So do the 3 of them. They return home and find that Herbert's mother has gone to Leatherhead. They look for information through television, and luckily, the television can still catch the news channel. On that channel, Dr. Stint and a military officer tell all British citizens to isolate themselves in their homes. The channel then goes off. The 3 of them immediately check the signal on their phones, but it turns out there is none. They suspect that the Earth satellite has been taken over by the aliens. Herbert says that the aliens will not last long on Earth, because the Earth's gravity is 3 times stronger than Mars. Hannah, who is taking water, sees the bushes moving. She is curious and wakes up Herbert and Ogilvy to check it out. They find a soldier named Baxter. He survived the alien attack, but he was traumatized. He told them that he fell into a ditch and managed to escape. They asked him about the condition in Leatherhead, where Herbert's mother was. Baxter was not sure because all the calls were cut off. Then Herbert gave his walkie-talkie to Baxter, hoping to help him. Baxter looked for a route to Leatherhead with his map. Not long after, the walkie-talkie connected with Commander Fred, who was in Weybridge. Baxter asked Fred about the condition in Leatherhead, but Fred said negative. Hearing that, the 4 of them took food, because they were going to Weybridge. And also they were not allowed to use motorized vehicles, because that would attract the attention of the aliens. Therefore, they were forced to use bicycles. In a short time, they arrived at the border of Weybridge, which was guarded by 2 soldiers. Baxter said that they had to go to Leatherhead, but they said that the route was dangerous, and the people in Leatherhead had been evacuated to London. They suggested Baxter to use the boat in Weybridge to go to London. The 4 of them went there and met with a group of people who would be evacuated to a safer place, along with some military bases. The 3 of them got on a small boat that had been prepared. But before they left, they were attacked by aliens. Although they managed to defeat 1 alien, the number of aliens was too many, and the military base was destroyed by the aliens. On the other hand, the 3 of them had to go to London by walking and riding an unused boat, until they landed in a forest and met a priest who claimed to be God's messenger. He said that this was the end of mankind, and there was no other way. But Herbert denied him and said that he did not care about his words, because the 3 of them were on their way to London, and Herbert told the priest to help him, not to lament his fate. Then the priest suggested them to rest in a house not far away. Because it was late at night, they followed the priest's advice. In the house, they saw a bag of food. But when Ogilvy was going to take one, the priest forbade him and said that the food was a gift from God. Ogilvy, who was annoyed, scolded the priest. But the priest suddenly threatened the three of them with a knife. Herbert planned to attack the priest from behind, but failed and almost killed by the priest. Because they were uncomfortable, the three of them wanted to leave the house, but the priest forbade them. He said that God had not determined their fate and told the three of them to sit down. Herbert asked the priest what made him like this. The priest said that he was like this because God always took his family, which made him desperate. He said that he wanted to sleep and warned the three of them not to approach him or be ready to die. When the priest fell asleep, Herbert tried to kill him by approaching him quietly. But the aliens came back and the priest woke up. He was angry because the three of them broke his rules. Herbert tried to be nice to the priest and told him to be quiet and stay away from the window, because that could lure the aliens. But the priest did not want to listen, and sure enough, the alien immediately took the priest. And luckily, the three of them survived the alien attack. The next day, the three of them received a call from their walkie-talkie. It turned out that Baxter was calling them to come to him. The three of them were happy to hear that Baxter was still alive. Baxter told them that he was in the forest, not far from their location. The three of them quickly looked for a route there and met Baxter. The four of them gathered in the middle of the forest. Ogilvy accidentally played with Baxter's pistol, which made Baxter angry. Baxter also gave a static radio to Ogilvy, which might still be usable. Baxter said that this location was safe and suggested the three of them to rest for a while. The four of them also discussed the next trip to London. Baxter said that the aliens were now heading to Primrose Hill, which blocked the evacuation route. He said that maybe the people who were evacuated were hiding in the underground tunnels. Baxter suggested the three of them to join hiding in the tunnels, but Ogilvy refused. He said that it was impossible for him. Baxter argued that the important thing was that the four of them could live, and they had no other choice but to hide. Herbert was doubtful of Baxter's words, so Baxter called another soldier with his walkie-talkie as proof. The soldier said that there was no other way to London. Herbert, who heard that, immediately walked away, because he really wanted to meet his mother in London. Hannah tried to calm Herbert and said that even though the situation was difficult, she felt happy with her friends. That reminded Herbert of his childhood with his father, and Herbert also had determined to go to Primrose Hill and fight the aliens, because he knew he couldn't keep hiding and running. Baxter, who heard Herbert's statement, was immediately motivated to fight together, except Ogilvy, who felt that Herbert's statement was illogical. But rather than being left alone, Ogilvy had to go with them. Upon arriving in London, they were all shocked to see the condition of the city that had been destroyed by the alien attack. But that did not make them despair to go to Primrose Hill, the place they knew as the alien nest, to breed. Until they got to the hill, they first monitored the situation and made a plan to scatter. That is, Hannah and Herbert would approach the alien nest and monitor what the aliens were doing. They were surprised to see that the aliens used humans as food for their children. Herbert immediately called Baxter using a walkie-talkie to report the condition around them, but Baxter was careless and did not realize that Ogilvy was kidnapped by the aliens. Baxter immediately chased the alien and lured it with his pistol, so that the alien would catch him. This had been planned by Baxter from the beginning as a sacrifice. Meanwhile, Hannah and Herbert took advantage of the opportunity to run from the laser shots of the aliens and head to the shelter suggested by Baxter, which was in the underground tunnels. Although disgusted and uncomfortable, they had to rest for a while in that place rather than die shot by lasers. But not long after, the three of them argued because of Ogilvy's mistake that made Baxter die. But Ogilvy did not accept that, and blamed Herbert, who was brave. But rather than continuing to argue, the three of them decided to sleep until tomorrow. Before going to sleep, Hannah wondered what would happen if tomorrow the earth was ashes. When the next day came, the three of them checked out. But they felt something was strange because there was no more war or commotion. This made them curious and they decided to go back to Primrose Hill or the alien nest. They thought the aliens might be dead, but it turned out that the aliens were indeed gone. Right then, Dr. Stint, their lecturer, came to them. They wondered why the aliens died, and Dr. Stint explained that the microbes in their bodies were not strong enough to adapt to the Earth, like we live on a foreign planet. Therefore, the aliens died in a few days. When they were about to go home, Herbert got a call that his mother was also safe, and Herbert was finally happy, and the movie ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.